get bitten by the music bug, and then for a lot of people, once you're on that path, they're like, there's nothing else I want to do. Literally nothing.
There are 3,000 about full-time orchestral positions in the United States. We graduate 10,000 music students a year in the United States. We can fully fulfill those orchestras 3 times over. Not to say that all those musicians deserve to be in a major orchestra, that's not what I'm saying. But more graduates get graduated that are really wonderful musicians who can't find work in that way. But yet most musicians are coming in thinking that that's the kind of work they want to do.
Well, classical music is in a time of big transition right now, like many large institutions. I say it's like churches and like journalism. You're dealing with a declining audience, you're dealing with a big social shift, and you're dealing with a lot of old institutions that are having trouble dealing with that shift.
We're really the beginning of that pipeline. Conservatories, and we're the first stop, in terms of people being prepared for that. And the reality of it is, and this is where I'll, maybe this will upset some of my conservatory colleagues, but conservatories have not done a very good job of that. In reality, in many, many ways, we train musicians like it's 100 years ago.
In the past, music schools functioned like trade schools. And students were prepared for highly demanding, very, very narrowly functioning jobs.
C sharp goes up to D, here the D flat goes down to C. And this time, it's not a G sharp, it's not a G flat, it's an F sharp because
those kinds of narrow training roles in conservatories, particularly to be touring soloists and to be orchestra players, those are the things that are becoming less and less pertinent to the professional world the students will enter.
Sometimes they think all they can do is the orchestra. And then you look at them and say, no. Music is an incredibly large industry. It's like, well, what piece of it do you want? Because believe it or not, classical music is bigger than what we're actually teaching.
There's a lot of doomsayers out there that's saying, oh, well, classical music, we have these orchestras going on strike and then getting locked out, and we're seeing all kinds of change. But in fact, this is normal. There's normally churn in any activity. In economies, they change. And instead of trying to stay the way things were and being churned down the tubes, we can be part of the thing that produces new art for new audiences, and that's what artists have always done.
Entrepreneurship is the buzzword at conservatories today, and they're putting a lot of resources into this. And basically what this means is, how are you going to market yourself? How are you going to think about creating a career for yourself and a life in music for yourself?
Have you reached out to additional press contacts to let them know that you've been getting interviewed?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
We've already got that going.
How about updates about ticket availability?
This is, make no mistake about it, a really good thing for the field, to get musicians who are motivated enough and creative enough to want to figure out what they can do.
Can we go one by one? Good. See if you can. Jeremy, we don't have. So it's always a little bit of that nervous, like, will I be working sort of attitude. So I don't want to just live that way. So I also really enjoy teaching. A B and a C. That's so awesome.
Great. I got the notes.
All right.
I got the notes.
Okay.
And if what you want to do is play Beethoven sonatas, that's great. It's not saying that you have to do something that's not natural to you, but it's finding ways that you can broaden the definition of what a successful life in music might be.
So what are the skill sets that you need in order to start that? And then you start to make that list as a teacher. And you start to say, well, we need to know about a 501c3. We need to know nonprofits. You need to know about board of directors, how to manage board of directors, and how do you develop a good board, and things like that. So these skill sets are not ones that are taught in a private music lesson. And what the board can do is they can do a variety of events. Okay?
A big part of music schools are lessons. If you're a cellist, you're going to take a lot of cello lessons. And if you, the 21-year-old cellist, are getting all inflamed about different things you might do, and then you go in to your revered cello teacher who says that's a lot of schlock and you need to be practicing your exercises, that's going to have an impact on you too.
This is part of our challenge, is to change the thinking about what it means to be a prepared professional musician. And it doesn't include just playing your viola or your violin at the highest level. It involves developing a range of other knowledge and skills that enable you to get involved in your community, create more income streams, and then be more employable.
Reality will hit. And I think the more you can build up your skills to be prepared for the world outside this square block, the better. There's no guarantee of employment when you leave. You kind of have to be prepared to do things other than lock yourself in a practice room for hours a day. Sadly, that's not the way it works out here.